Hello, Failings. I am Halo Quin, creator of A World Enchanted, ringleader of the Goblin Circus, and the author of Your Faery Magic, which is due out with Moonbooks this month, December 2015, in case you're watching this in the future. Now, I've always had a fascination with fairies, and they have helped me a lot over the years. Not necessarily directly, although certainly that, but also through what they represent and the kind of beings that they are and what they mean to me. But that's not really what I'm here to talk to you about. This recording has been interrupted quite a few times by it cutting in and out, and I find that that's often an indication of strong magic happening. So what I'm going to do is ask the Fae to come and to tell me what they want me to tell you, because ultimately that's what I'm doing. I wrote this book as a guidebook to help others to find their way out of grey spaces and back into connection with their own wild magic. And that's what I needed at the time. It was a way that I'd always grown up. I'd always had that obsession or fascination with the Fae and with the wilder magics, with the natural, instinctive spaces. And when I lost that, loss isn't the right word, but when I forgot that, I ended up in quite a grey place. And every time that I forget that connection, every time I sort of back away from it and start working from what I think is the right thing, I find myself in difficult positions. Commuting 4 hours and staying in my hometown, which I don't get on with, to work in order to survive when I wanted to be living in Wales. Well, sometimes you just have to do things like that. But actually, if I'd have listened to the magic in my heart, I wouldn't have been there. I wouldn't have been doing that. I would have followed the clues that would have led me to a better place. And that's what happens when you don't listen to the magic, when you don't listen to the spirits that guide you. This has become much more candid than I was expecting it to be. But yeah, it's the truth. There are spirits that guide us, and for me, that's most often the Fae. I've always looked for them since I was too small to remember. People would find me looking deep into the flowers and digging my way into bushes and things to find the fairy groves, to find the doorway to that other world. And I never questioned how I'd know them when I saw them. I never questioned whether it was possible or not. I knew they were there. I knew that magic was there. I knew that those spirits were there because I could feel them. I spent a great many years trying to see fairies, and eventually I realised that the problem was I was trying too hard. And they don't need us to try to see them. We have to allow ourselves to be aware of what is on the corners of our awareness, what is on the edges of our world, and what is seen out of the corner of our eyes. We have to step into that space where we breathe into our heart and allow ourselves to open. And once we do that, not only can we find our connection to those spirits that are all around us and find our way back to our place in nature, but we also can find our way to be connected to each other. Because We are all a part of a great web of life. It sounds like a cliche because it's true. We're all part of nature. We're not separate from it. I might be sat here with a computer and a microphone and a building made of, well, I live in a caravan, so it's kind of made of metal and plastic. But I'm still a natural being. I'm still a part of nature. I rely on the plants growing for food. I rely on the weather being kind or being harsh, depending on what's needed to help the land to grow, to keep us warm and safe, to grow wood for the fire, to grow dinner, and also to provide that space of peace and connection and a reminder that actually the world isn't all, gentle and easy and under our control. One of the things I love to do is to walk by the ocean and to put my feet just at the edge where the waves wash over it. And I'll walk along that water's edge and feel the ocean wash away the anxieties and the stresses and the tensions and the things that I'm holding on to, so that I have an open enough space that I can listen. And then I'll stop and I'll look out over the waves and I'll see the depth and the breadth of the wildness that is there, the sheer sublime size of the world. And I see that I'm a small part of it, an insignificant part of it almost, but not, because each of us has a place, so each of us has a significance. And that is where I started from. From there, I reached out. The world is big and vast and beautiful and wild and dangerous, and in it are big and vast and beautiful and wild and dangerous, and small and sweet and kind spirits. And sometimes a single spirit is all of those things. And those wild spirits of nature, those are the Fae. And when we allow the waves and the winds to wash and blow away the knots that we tie around ourselves, we find our own wild hearts. And we can breathe into who we are and become what we are. And if the fairies are the spirits of nature and we are spirits of nature, then what does that make us?